That is activation of all three elements of your core: the upper waist, the lower waist, and the hip muscles. I use the mantra turn, tuck, lift to stand in for all three of those actions. Turn the upper waist to bring the heel down, tuck from the lower abs to bring yourself forward to the flat foot position, and then lift from the front of your hip to swing through. Turn, tuck, lift. Turn, tuck, lift. Turn, tuck, lift. That mantra you can get going to optimize the flow from your core rather than just moving unconsciously where we're flopping our feet or we're flopping our upper body down. We don't have any spinal alignment and we're putting ourselves at risk for pain. And it also just doesn't look very good if you walk that way. How you put your foot down may be one of the most important clues to your posture and your risk of chronic back, hip, knee, and foot pain. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can assess your own foot placement, and then I'm going to show you what part of the core you need to focus on to make sure your feet are placing properly to optimize your posture and your walking technique. If you're new to the channel, I'm Dr. Todd Martin, creator of The Walking Code. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Now let's review a few basic visual cues for proper foot placement. Place the heel first, then roll with control into a flat foot position. This should be a smooth movement, not a fall. Keep your feet facing forward rather than turning outward. A key point in each step occurs at the end of the forward swing, before the back heel lifts and before the front heel touches down. You should be able to pause briefly in this position before deliberately lowering the heel. If you can't find this position of balance, that's okay. Practice can fix it. It is from this position that we're going to work on bringing the heel down using our core rotation. To find this balance consistently, we first need to clear up a few common myths about walking. The first is the belief that efficient walking comes from leaning into each step, letting gravity create a controlled fall. Pay close attention to my posture and you won't see a single moment of forward lean. Any forward lean at all will ruin your ability to find that balanced position before lowering your heel. This is what a controlled fall looks like. A second myth is pushing off with the toes. That idea is supposed to support the concept of the inverted pendulum, where you create efficiency by pushing the body up and over a rigid straight leg, then allow gravity to pull the body forward and down to efficiently finish the step. Efficient walking has no perceptible up and down pendulum action, as you can see here. Finally, get out of your mind that you must actively lift your swing leg forward to clear the ground and place the foot. That mental conception leads to duck foot walking as demonstrated here. Even though the posture flaw is less obvious than leaning forward, there is still no ability to find balance when walking with duck feet. So, how do we place our foot correctly? We need to use rotation of our waist. That includes our upper waist and our lower waist muscles, but the placement of the foot is primarily going to be controlled by the rotation from our upper waist. So if I'm rotating like this, I'm using the upper waist muscles to drive that arm swing. That arm swing should go opposite of the leg swing. So when my right arm goes forward, the left leg should be going forward. And when the left arm goes forward, the right leg should be going forward. This rotation, or the absence of it, is one of the primary things that's going to be missing in all of the incorrect posture and walking issues. One of the first things you may ask yourself is why you don't feel that rotation happening when you are walking. And the answer is simple. When I stand in place and rotate to swing my arms in this fashion, I can feel the rotation happen, and you can even see the rotation happening because my spine is fixed in place. When we're walking, as I rotate, the spine is going to move with me at the speed of the rotation. So there's not going to be any visible or even feelable rotation happening. We have to rely on the swing of the arms to be a stand-in for the rotation that's happening in the waist. If we were to walk and somebody was holding our spine still so it didn't go forward with us, then we'd be able to appreciate that rotation. But when I am walking forward, the spine is going to travel at the same speed as the rotation, so it appears like the rotation never happened, but it is. And we need to try to make it somewhat conscious, or at least semi-conscious, to control it, especially if we're having any one of those posture or walking technique problems. The timing is the key. We have to get to this position where we have the swing through leg forward with the heel just off the ground and the rear heel still situated on the ground. This is when I activate the rotation of the upper waist to bring the heel down and bring the rear heel up. That is what's going to begin moving my arm forward on that side. So as I move forward with my left upper waist, my left arm is going to start going forward, my left heel is going to come down, and my right heel is going to come up. And I'm going to keep that energy, that rotation going until the end of the swing through. We can think of beginning with the left heel just off the ground at the end of the swing through, and I'm going to rotate the left upper waist to bring the left heel down, bring the right heel up, and I'm going to continue that rotation until my right heel is just over the ground, ready for it to come down. Then I rotate the right upper waist forward and continue through. So left and right, left and right. The rotation brings down the heel on that side and begins to bring the swing arm forward. What we are trying to avoid is either rotating from both sides at the same time, which creates not just a bringing of the heel down like this. If I rotate with both sides forward, it's going to cause me to lean forward. And then I'm essentially stuck in this leaning position the whole time. So that is, you could say, over rotation, or rotating on both sides. So essentially I have no net rotation. I end up just falling forward. The other common issue is absence of rotation. So instead of this rotation happening with an engaged upper core, I have no upper core action, and I'm relying on the lower abs to tuck under like this. So I have a slouched posture, and then I'm just picking my foot up and it just lands on the ground without any necessary rotation of the upper waist. But you can see I have really terrible alignment of my spine and a very lazy looking posture and step. It's also going to have ramifications with the alignment of my hips and my knees and my feet. So I have to engage this absent rotation. I need to start moving from there, and you see how that's going to raise my posture up as it brings the heel down like that. So we're engaging this upper waist rotation. Then one of the other problems I mentioned is the anterior pelvic tilt. Here, we have no engagement of that rotation. We're essentially leaning forward like this, but we're compensating by extending the upper back like this. So it's almost like I'm doing the forward lean and fall, but I'm just extending my upper back to compensate, and it looks like this. The foot just goes directly into the crash on the ground. And again, I have a poorly aligned spine where I have an exaggerated arch in the lumbar spine here, which is going to make me much more prone to back pain and hip pain. And then the crash into the heel with no alignment is going to eventually cause knee and foot problems. The final, but one of the most common issues I mentioned is the duck foot walking. This is similar to the slouch, except by taking my slouching posture that's not engaged here, by turning the feet out, it brings the body forward a little bit so it appears like I have vertical posture, but I really don't have good vertical posture. I've corrected the slouch visually by turning the feet out, but I'm still not engaged here with the upper abs at all. I'm just flopping the foot forward. You'll be able to tell that you have this lack of engagement with the upper waist, not only by the feet being turned out, but you'll also see your palms turned back like this, whether in the slouching posture or in the duck foot posture, instead of when we walk with good posture and technique, the thumbs should be facing forward with each step, driving that movement forward from the core. So if you notice that your palms are back like this, you know there is a significant posture and gait problem. And it's also going to put you at risk for shoulder problems. So if you have rotator cuff issues in one of or your other shoulder, check to see if you have one of these posture problems: duck feet or slouching or palms backward. That is going to be part of the cause of the rotator cuff issues. And if you don't address that, you're not going to address your shoulder. For the final part of the video, I'm going to show you what to practice if you're having an issue with the way you're placing your foot. The first thing you're going to want to do is assume the position at the end of the swing through and see if you can balance in this position. You should have your standing foot facing forward, your swing foot facing forward, and your arm slightly forward on the side opposite the foot that is forward. The other thing you should notice from the side view is that your pelvis should be engaged in a neutral tilt. So not tipped backwards and not tipped forward. Your pelvis should be like a bowl that's not going to spill water out the front or the back. That is proper posture at the end of the step. Then, once you have that, that will ensure that the upper waist is engaged, in this case on the left. The lower abs are engaged, keeping that pelvis in a neutral tilt on the left. And then what we want to do is activate the rotation from the other side, the right side of the upper waist, to bring the heel down. If you can strike this position, bring the heel down with an active rotation, almost like you're starting to bowl a bowling ball. And you can shift back and bowl the bowling ball. As you bring the right heel down, the left heel should come up naturally. You don't have to drive the foot down. It's going to be propelled by the rotation of your core. That's the motion. And do not lean to bring it down. If you lean to bring it down, you're going to end up in this position. And also, don't push. We do not need to push from our glutes. If you push from the glutes, you're going to either just do this or you're going to do this, the lean. So we want to make the movement come from the rotation. And once you get the heel down, then work on continuing the flow so your body moves forward. If you're having difficulty once you get to the flat foot position, feeling what to do, the next thing you have to do is use the front muscles of the hip here, the hip flexors, to pull the body through, rotate, and once the heel hits, then you got to use your lower abs to tuck under. That's what's going to neutralize that pelvic rotation, and then the hip muscles in the front to lift forward. That is activation of all three elements of your core: the upper waist, the lower waist, and the hip muscles. I use the mantra turn, tuck, lift to stand in for all three of those actions. Turn the upper waist to bring the heel down, tuck from the lower abs to bring yourself forward to the flat foot position, and then lift from the front of your hip to swing through. Turn, tuck, lift. Turn, tuck, lift. Turn, tuck, lift. That mantra you can get going to optimize the flow from your core rather than just moving unconsciously where we're flopping our feet or we're flopping our upper body down. We don't have any spinal alignment and we're putting ourselves at risk for pain, and it also just doesn't look very good if you walk that way. So optimize the core rotation, upper waist, lower abs, and your hips. And I think you're going to feel a lot more fluid, a lot more confident with your movement, and you're going to reduce stress on your joints. Drop me a comment and let me know if this explanation is making sense to you, and try it out and tell me if it's working out. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber, and I'll see you in the next one.